Oh my God, I got all of them.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Thank you. Thanks for the delay.
I guess, Scott, we are ready to begin whenever you are. Taro, how about a sound check? Can you hear us okay? Okay.
So I think the first thing we need to address is a rumor that one of you actually knows Blake Carrera.
Yeah, that's me. I actually joined iWAS about 3 months ago, and I'm recording the third album with him as we speak.
You're recording another one?
We're recording a third album for iWAS. I know that the second one is about to go out in a few weeks. We're already recording the third one. We have 7 songs so far.
That is odd. That's incredible. So I got the scoop here. That there's so before the iWAS takes over the world, there's another one. That's awesome. I had Blake on a couple weeks ago, and it one of my favorite interviews ever.
Yeah, he's a really sweet dude. Don't get fooled by his satanic persona. He is actually the sweetest teddy bear you will ever meet.
And he's funny as hell.
Yes, he is.
I used to think he hated me because I've been on Fuzz Club with him a couple of times. He has that really straight face, straight delivery. And and then I started realizing half the time it's a joke. He's just waiting to see if anybody gets it.
It was September 8th, right?
Yeah, for some reason, I thought it released back in August, and I haven't figured out. So the first...
We released a single in August, the full album in September.
Good, because Demons Seem to Gather is my #1 album for September.
No.
I thought that... So Baroness is #2, and Lord Velvet #3.
Wow.
I will put you up against Baroness in a few ways. Obviously, Gina is a brilliant genius guitar player. The whole band is. But you guys like hit right out the gate with this album with a power, a fury, and a freshness that, to be honest, I'm hearing a lot this year. It's just you guys did it even better. So how did you guys get together? What's the whole idea behind the band? Someone go.
Well, we've been friends for over a decade. So we've known each other from basically from the metal scene in Mexico City. And we just stayed in touch when I emigrated to the US. We stayed in touch and we were still friends. Over the years, we've continued to keep in touch, and we've even traded shows. Like with some of the bands that I played here in the US, we've had the chance to tour in Mexico and open shows for Luan Taro's other band. Luan Taro playing another pretty well-established rock band in Mexico called Cubo. And so we just stayed in touch. And Demons, my friends, basically was born organically in March 2022 during South by Southwest of that year. I was performing at South by Southwest with my former band, a desert rock band from Washington, D.C. called Fellowcraft. And Fellowcraft was supposed to record an EP that weekend. We had already booked some time with Jeff Henson at Red Nova Ranch, his studio in Austin, Texas. And the weekend of, the dudes in Fellowcraft decided that they would rather just party and have fun and that they didn't want to record anymore. So I was stuck with a booked studio and a recording session ready to go and no band to record with. So I just hit up my buddies, Luan Taro, back in Mexico City, and to ask them, we haven't seen each other since before the pandemic. Would love to catch up with you guys. Would you guys be down to come to Austin and just jam, see what happens? And they immediately said yes, hopped on a plane, and we spent 3 days that weekend recording. And we basically wrote and recorded 3 songs that weekend, completely, start to finish. We had 3 songs completed by the end of the weekend. We did 1 song per day. And literally at the beginning of the day, we just went into the studio. Jeff sat down with us and he's like, cool, what do you guys want to record? And we were like, we have no idea. Let's just play. Let's see what happens. And that's the first 3 songs of the album were born. The songs that we recorded that weekend were Bring the Night, We Are the Resistance, and Make Them Pay.
Yes.
And whoa. No, I'm not buying this. You're telling me the Make Them Pay was written in 1 day?
Written and recorded in 1 day. Yes.
I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed to say that song made me cry, and it made me cry so hard. I was up in the bedroom with Newbie Doomer, and I've got the headphones on, and so Make Them Pay starts out. It's how would you describe it? Because for me, it's a straight ahead rocker. That could have been done by Dokken. That could have been by any metal band at any era. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Well, the starting for Make Them Pay is really funny because Make Them Pay was recording on a Sunday. On Saturday night, we left the studio at around 9 p.m. after recording We Are the Resistance, and we were destroyed. We went to In-N-Out, we had some burgers, we had dinner, and then we just crashed and went to sleep because we knew that we had to do it again the next day. That evening at 9, I dreamt with the main riff, the and so I just woke up and I was tapping the riff. And then at breakfast, I was like, guys, I think I have a riff for today's song. And I think it was Tarro who just laughed and said that kind of sounds like Du Has from Rammstein. Like, okay, so let's play with that and just make it different so it doesn't sound like Rammstein. And they're like, okay, that's a challenge. Let's have fun with it. And so the entire song just came out of this like riff that I woke up and had stuck in my head. But by like the first, after the writing the first couple of minutes, we were like, okay, that's as far as the idea goes. There's no way we can stretch this any further, so let's just do something different. And that's when we just started jamming with one chord. And we thought it was going to go somewhere else, but we just were like, no, this fits. Why does it have to be anything more complicated than like that? Let's just groove on this one chord and just like squish it and like squeeze out of every single last drop of juice that we can out of this one chord, out of this one nasty chord. And that's the concept of the middle part.
But what it brought to mind for me immediately was My Arms, Your Hearse, or Still Life era Opeth. The way that they would do that, they take out a main theme and then take you somewhere else and then launch back into the theme but twice as hard. And I'm sitting there and I'm just crying. Like it was like the first time I heard Blackwater Park.
Wow.
In that it's like, now I am not saying you wrote Blackwater Park. Okay, so I don't blow that kind of smoke, but it had the same effect because I think heavy metal, heavy music in general, it does, even if it's not saying anything, it's still a bit of a message and it's still a bit of a journey. How you pack that into 3 minutes of, well, I just think it's 3 minutes of perfect. I love that song. And it's like Opeth, as soon as I heard that, I went back to the beginning and started paying attention. The drumming is Taro, right?
Yep.
The drumming is, so who are your influences? Because I swear, you've got some old school, are you Swedish?
No, I'm pure Mexican.
So who are the guys that you grew up like just listening to over and over again?
Well, I let me tell you, one of the heroes that I have is Carter Buford from Dave Matthews Band. I don't know if that's good or that it's bad or good. I don't know. One of them is he. I mean, he is so creative with all his pieces and all his rhythms. And another one I really like, I love is John Bonham, Led Zeppelin. I love him. I love his power. I love the way he plays. He was an animal.
He was, but you also have a dexterity to it that reminds me of like maybe a Bill Ward or even Bill Bruford, just your ability to, and by the way, you do that because of the killer bass playing from Islu, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're a bass player's nightmare because I can't make heads or tails. Like when I'm listening to your music, I can't, you don't just play the root of the chord. Every now and then you throw these things in there and it confuses me in the best way possible. And again, 3 days, you guys.
Yeah, it's like, 3 songs, each one per day. It was like a nice freaking ride, I must say. It's like, it was an adventure that we've never been before there previously. And baseline wise, I like to be, it's weird because I'm thinking more like a groovy guitar player, maybe not per se as a bass player. It's like, it's everything about the groove. That's all the thing that I've been looking for in my entire career. It's groove. Everything's about the groove, and being able to get there, find a sweet spot where you can merge with the other guys in your band, with these couple of brothers right here. And it's really interesting because it's like sometimes it goes a little bit melodic, sometimes I kind of step a little bit back, and there's like a certain rule within bass players and drum players. Like, you always, as a bass player, you have to stick to the drum kick always. But it's like I like to break the rules a little bit. It's like, okay, yeah, there's an important part of the song or the bridge or whatever which needs to be reinforced by the bass and the drum kick, but not all the entire freaking time. You know what I mean? It's like that's what's all about, playing with a click, playing with some tempos, playing with the dragging a little bit more, keep it in the pocket, all that stuff. And it's about having fun and just be able to give what the song's asking for. That's the main thing about it. That's my way of thinking about that part of the creative process.
Keep doing it, because I couldn't keep up. Did you record that live? Because you didn't have time. You're shaking your heads live.
Yeah, we did live.
Yeah, Red Number Ranch, which is it's a coincidence that I'm wearing their T-shirt today. It's not on purpose. Jeff Studios Red Number Ranch is basically just one live room, and the control room is inside. So it's basically just like one open space where he has like the console and the monitors and all of the equipment and all of the drums and the guitars and everything set up in the same room, because like the entire concept of his studio is all about recording live. And so it was the only way we was ever going to be able to work, because we were writing these songs as we were recording them. We didn't have anything prepped. There was no pre-production. We had the morning, every morning as we stepped in, we had no clue what the result was going to be, and we just like it was a kind of like a trust exercise also in a way, like between us as friends, just like trusting each other and knowing that okay, whatever happened was going to be the best thing that could possibly happen. And I think it really cemented the chemistry and the bond of the band that we've been able to then hone in deeper on as we started playing live shows and we started promoting the album and we kept recording the other songs. So for example, out of the 8 songs of the album, 3 songs were recorded that weekend in March 2022, and the other 5 songs were recorded in one day in January of this year, January 15th of this year. I flew down to Mexico City. We were together for 2 days. We had 2 days of pre-production in Tarro's house, just like finishing the ideas and getting all of the structures ready. And then on Sunday, we basically just went in the studio and recorded live takes, the 3 of us, just like, so those live takes took about an hour per song. We did 5 songs in 5 hours, and that was the basis. So the bass and the drums were done there, and 1 track out of the guitars was done there. And then out of that, we took about another week. I took about another week just doing guitar overdubs, recording a second guitar and recording small guitar arrangements and guitar solos. And then after that, between Lou and I, we took another 2 days. He took a day and recording his vocals, and then I took another day recording vocals, and then that was it. That was the entire thing.
But that was back in March, during the South by Southwest week.
Yeah. So in March 2022, we recorded 3 songs, and then March 2023, we got to play 3 shows at South by Southwest, and so these guys were here in Austin for 4 days. So 3 days we recorded shows, and then on the 4th day we went back to Red Nova Ranch so that Lou could record his vocals for all of the songs. So the thing about this band and the whole concept of the band overall, but also the album, is just something that's very raw and organic. It's just basically like trying to take a snapshot of the chemistry of the band in the moment that we go in there and we're fully energized and we just do what we can, and we just try to we do everything in like 1 or 2 takes, and then that's it, because we just want a snapshot of these creative outbursts that we're having in the moment. And that was something new for us, because with our previous bands, we've never done that before. We've done the traditional route of like taking days and like multiple takes and then punching in takes, like, oh, that note could have sounded better. Oh, that strum was a little bit off with the kick drum. We could be tighter. Let's just punch in that part. And with Demons My Friends, we haven't done that at all. We just we purposely kept small mistakes inside, like in the recording. Like if you really pay attention, you can hear like small mistakes within the songs, parts that could have been a little bit tighter, parts where like the bass drum and the guitar strum are a little bit off from each other. But we kept that on purpose because we really wanted to just make sure that this album was as organic and human as possible, and it conveyed was just the love that we have for the band and for each other in a very raw way.
And also the click. Yeah, sorry, Paul. And also we don't record with click. So that was pretty new for us to get used to play without. To me, it was like wow, no, because I always record with a metronome in my ears, and in this case we said no, let's do without click and just feel it, click, and that's how we did it.
And I remember that you felt pretty naked at the beginning.
Yeah. That is. So you felt naked. How vulnerable was that? Because that's not easy.
It's not easy. I felt like pretty terrible at first, but then I kind of get the vibe, the group that that gave me the guitar and the bass, and just I let things happen. Just play, man, and feel it. That's it.
Lou, what was it like for you? No click track. So that forced you to lock in with the drums in a totally different way.
Exactly. We have there's certain wireless communication now between Taro and I. We've been playing together for the last 10 years or something. So we know I know what he's going to do, and I think he knows what I'm going to do, and how I behave within my comfort zone regarding the bass lines and stuff and groove. So yeah, I think the most difficult part was like be okay with it the way it is. it's like, okay, this is the way it is. This is the way it went. This is the way it was recorded. So stick with it. No punches, no arranging any kind of mistake. No, oh, this octave note, please let me punch it. No. Forget about it. It's like, it's just the way it is. It's the way it was. It was born.
Supposed
You know,
to.
it was supposed to sound. It was like Pablo said. It's like it's like taking a snapshot of that very specific moment. So we stuck there, and that was, at least for me, it was the most difficult part. Like I remember getting back at home with all the recording sessions and the Pro Tools files and whatever from that last session at the Mexico studio, and I was like, oh, I wanna hear everything, in solo. So let's see how it went. And after 2 minutes, I was like, no, what the fuck am I doing? Like, no, this is not okay. So I'm just like getting anxious, and I will like to repeat every part I could, at least for bass. And I was like, no, that it's okay. It's like accepting the reality as it is. It's like unconditional love.
Accepting the ugly parts with the beautiful ones together.
Well, that's metal, right? I remember I got to hear isolated tracks from Iron Maiden. I think it was their second album, Killers, and it sounds like crap. The isolated, it sounds like crap because he uses those punchy rotor-wound strings. He's got the treble boosted, and there's all sorts of hum. But man, you put it into the mix, and it flies.
Exactly, the context. Really...
I hate to mention this, but Black Sabbath recorded their first album kind of the same way,
Yeah.
but they had months, if not a year, to polish out the songs, right? So they went into the studio and they hit. You guys wrote the songs, then recorded them.
Well, at least because of the first three songs. With the other five, it was a longer process where because we are a long distance line. I live in Austin, Texas, and then Lou and Taro live in Mexico City. So the way that we can make it work is by basically trading ideas, file sharing. I'll record a riff, or I'll record like ideas, like riff ideas, and I'll send it to them,
Okay.
and then we'll arrange them.
But it's not like you went to a club and played them 3 times a day, 4 days a week.
No.
So now there's a fourth member to your band that I think we really need to talk about, because the more I'm hearing you, the more my mind is blown. Now I love the record even more. Who's the guy that recorded, produced, and mixed and mastered at this?
Jeff Henson, he's a guitar player in Duo.
Yeah. I believe he's also recorded Spirit Adrift.
Yeah, he's recorded a ton of like stoner bands. He recorded Warlong's last album. He recorded Desert Queen. He recorded Greenbeard's last album, Variant. So yeah, he's definitely an institution in Texas.
None of those bands, none of those albums sound like this. Was it difficult for him? How did he embrace we're just going to do a live and whatever happens, happens? How was that for him?
It was perfect.
He's a perfectionist.
He was so down with the idea. He was like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. Let's see what happens. Like, yeah. But the other thing that I would say that he was super down when we recorded the instrumental parts of the songs, but he was so critical and so tough on us.
Okay.
When we recorded vocals, that was where he was like strict as fuck.
The vocals are great, and I just heard another band today that they reminded me of your vocal approach. I think it's Bloodthorn, brand new band just coming out. You've got very little processing in there, right?
No processing.
It's just any digital echo, any echo plate.
We have some reverb, but it's an analog reverb that Ev has in the studio.
Exactly.
And then that's it. Just a ton of overdubs. I think, like, for example, a song like The Tower Falls, I recorded like 4 different tracks of vocals that are blended together and mixed together.
He even has some harmonies.
Yeah, exactly. That was like very, very interesting approach. It's like, I believe that Jeff was able to manage to graph or to maybe like get the best out of us in his own way, very, very particular way, actually. Yeah, regarding vocals, yeah, it was, we were like, okay, this is maybe too melodic. We don't know, but let's go for it. It's like, what the hell? And in the end, it was like it has like a nice eerie vibe. In some songs, it was like it's more theatrical. If you know what I mean, it's like going for the performing, getting into the character, like really understand the freaking lyrics. And maybe that's the root of every vocal interpretation. It's like go. You're in the end, you're a character as well, and you're telling a story.
I can't wait to listen to this again. I'm learning. And by the way, audience, so we're in basically 3 different countries. So I'm in America, and then Pablo's in Texas, and then Taro and Lou are in Mexico. So
Totally right.
so the audio is a little, I hope everybody is really, they've got their ears, especially the people that are in bands, because that's what my interviews are for, or for the bands. And I think for a lot of people, this is going to be some mind-blowing revelation. I know so many bands who don't have the money are recording, a 5-song EP over like a month or two. They're spending high dollar, or they're doing it in their home. Every little thing has to be perfect. And then once the drum tracks, then you're starting to time align, and then the auto tune. It sucks the life out of metal. So I love you. I love everything I'm hearing. How did you all come up with? And I started my article. You have the perfect name. How'd you come up with the name? It's a name that I would have sworn has always been a band. It's like that's like some really deep dive 1971. There's Pentagram and then Demons, My Friends. Okay, tell me about the name.
The name comes from after we finished that 3-day marathon recording session, and we were having dinner at the end of the last day before Lou and Taro flew back home, and we really talked about like having something special, and then I mean, we had no clue that we were forming a new band. We were just jamming for the weekend, but at the end, the final result, we were so pleasantly surprised by it that we said like, there's something here, we need to explore it. And then that entire weekend, we spent so much time together, just like catching up. The one topic that we all talked about was the pandemic, and how we all survived the pandemic and everything that we had to go through the pandemic. We had each in our own way had a really tough time during the pandemic, dealing with basically our inner demons, dealing with anxiety, depression, relationship breakups, and our own dealing with our own internal guilt. There was a lot of at least for me, what I dealt with in the pandemic was just being alone really made a lot of my previous memories or fuck ups in life to come, and I had time to ruminate about all of them and all of the mistakes that I had made, and I just felt worse about each and every one of them. And so just sharing those experiences over those 3 days, we felt that was something really special. And so when we were thinking about a concept for the band, we just said let's just do it about that. Let's just do it about how we are now in this moment in our lives, trying to process everything that we experienced through the pandemic and trying to come out as better people from it, as kinder people. And so the narrative that we built was why don't we name the band around the concept of trying to be okay with your inner demons and actually use them to your benefit, turn them into your friends so that you can use them to grow. And that's sort of where the name came from. The actual name comes from a quote from my favorite album. I think I don't have time to go into this because I could talk about hours about this, but my number one album that has influenced me the most in my entire life has been Skunkworks by Bruce Dickinson, one of his solo albums. Actually, the less famous album by Bruce Dickinson. He has a track in there called Inner Space that has a quote in one of the lyrics that says, "Whatever demons tortured me, I love them as a friend." And as soon as I was hearing that after spending the weekend with these two gentlemen, I texted it to them and said how about we name the band this? And then I just sent them the quote, and then from that it evolved to Demons, My Friends. Whatever demons tortured me, I love them as a friend.
That's a great story. I was hoping for the story. And then did you self-release, or are you on a label?
We're on a label. We're signed with Gravitoid Heavy Music.
I was talking to a good friend the other day, and they thought the Gravitoid had gotten out of the label business, and I'm like, no, man, they've got Demons, My Friends. How'd you get hooked up with Gravitoid? They're a Texas institution, right?
Yeah, well, I'm really good friends with Damon, who's the founder of Gravitoid Heavy Music. He's one of my best friends here in Austin, and Damon sold the label recently, about a year ago, to Jude and John, who are the members of the band Stone Nomads from Houston, Texas. And so coincidentally, completely unrelated, we had played some shows with Stone Nomads. We played a show with them in Houston. They invited us to last year when we played the South by Southwest shows. We also played a show in Houston that they invited us to. And so we met the dudes at this show in Houston, and we really hit it off with them. And so when we found out, when Damon told me yeah, I just sold the label and I sold it to these guys, I was like, oh my God, I love those guys. And after seeing us at the show, John told me, hey, I really loved your set. I really love what you guys are doing. Do you have any music coming out? I said yeah, actually we're working on a new album that should be probably ready in about 2 or 3 more months. We're finished recording, and then after that, just mixing, mastering. So like as soon as the masters are ready, like hit me up. I want to talk to you guys. And so when the masters were ready, I hit him up and said like, we'd love to sign you guys. Short negotiation, sign the contract, and then that's how it happened.
I love seeing Gravitoid hitting like this. Is there any day that you're not working?
No.
Last round of questions. How's the response been to the album?
Well, it's doing pretty good. Yeah, we have received a lot of love. I'm gonna say love from around the world. From Europe, from South America, from United States, from Latin America, and in general, and Japan, and to many places that we are pretty happy and grateful to listen and to read all these reviews we already got from the album, and that makes us even hungrier for more. We want to be able to get in those countries, to play and to get the chance to meet the people, hand by hand, said in a show. And as an independent band, we have many struggles with about money, because if you want to travel to Europe, you need a lot, you need to pay hotels, you need to pay the airplanes, you need to pay the van, you need to pay from all your backline and all that. And we are we're struggling, but we are loving this journey. This journey, it all depends, and this is how a rock band starts. Yeah, we have all the energy, we have all the positive energy to do it, and this is just begin. It's just the first step, and we are definitely ready to move to the second step one by one. We want to take everything just how it's supposed to be. You have to do it one by one, and take strong steps on our career.
Okay, dudes. As a white boy from the Midwest, I'm originally from Cleveland. Metal's a worldwide thing. There's South American bands, South African bands, Indonesian bands, and I just to see you guys come out of the gate from Mexico City and Texas and just stomp it super hard, I think is great. Who are the other bands that I need to be paying attention to from Mexico or otherwise south of the border? Who am I missing?
Oh, well,
that's a pretty good question.
It's a nice question.
There's a lot of bands, that are pretty good, but they're a different kind of music, a different kind of rock, and maybe I don't know, Lou, if you have any.
Yeah, at least for Mexico, we have Comanchet, we have Three Wheeler Band, we have this band from Mexico City. These guys from The Wicked Ones, for instance. Right. These guys are doing great here in Mexico City. Who else, Pablito?
I mean, Scott, I'm sure you know Bino Sabathi.
Oh yeah,
from Mexico City as well. Electric Mountain from Mexico City as well.
Oh yeah.
Moon Watcher from Monterrey. Right. So in the stoner scene, there's a very live and vibrant stoner scene in Mexico City that we are still getting to know a little bit better because we are a new band. But in the stoner scene, I would definitely recommend that. And then there's this amazing female fronted group called Bondre from Mexico City that are friends with Lou.
Bondre, right.
Black Overdrive is another one of the biggest stoner bands in Mexico. They played some of the major festivals already.
We can email you at least.
I was just gonna say, email me a list because I do want to get. I mean, you get stuck in a rut, and this is like lately. I think Tennessee has been a real big hotspot here, but I do want to make sure that I'm branching out, that I'm paying attention to all because it's a worldwide phenomenon. I would have to say that more, and I could be wrong, and I could be corrected. I think stoner generally sells more in Mexico, in Europe, in Asia than what it necessarily does here in the States. And I think the scene, as long as we've got to pay attention to everybody coming from everywhere. Otherwise, we're not going to connect with the fans. And I know the scene is huge. I know death metal kind of big in the Mexican area, including Central America. So yeah, send me that list so I can pay attention to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd be happy. Of course.
Guys, is there anything I didn't ask you that you were just waiting for me to ask and I totally missed it?
our social media. We are pretty much everywhere as Demons My Friends. You can support us on Bandcamp. We have some merch there. There's the albums there. And Spotify, Deezer, almost every streaming platform. On YouTube, our YouTube channel, Demons My Friends, we have a nice bunch of official videos, there from our 4 singles that we kept launching until September 8th. So yeah, we have four videos there, and there's a small documentary of the recording process of the album Demons Sing Together. So it's subtitled in English, so you don't have to worry about it. It's it can be enjoyed worldwide, so no problem.
I'll make sure that I've got the links. Yeah, I'll make sure I have all that in there. Guys, I can't thank you enough. It's really an honor for me because we're a small channel and we're relatively new. And when a band, honestly, as good and as big as you guys, you've been wonderful supporters of what we're doing here, and I really appreciate it.
No, Scott. It's our pleasure. I wouldn't end the interview by saying this. We made you cry with Make Them Pay, but you made me cry when you compared our music to My Arms, Your Hers, because that was basically my favorite album when I was 14. So
I wasn't wrong. It's those emotions. I love it when I hear something, because you're not overtly taking, but I'm talking specifically Lindgren era Opeth is what I hear in the leads and what I hear, but it's masterfully done and in the correct genre to do it in.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you, guys. Stay in touch, please. And if you ever end up in North Carolina, let me know.
Absolutely. We are definitely planning some East Coast stays for 2024, so we will keep you posted as soon as those are in the books.